Thank you, Keenan. So this is the first time for me, and I'm very much a newbie, so bear with me, please. When thinking about or sitting in deep consideration, really, of what I might speak about this afternoon, I took a reference from Keenan's words, actually, when the Venerable Guang Hui Zhen responded, "The world protecting deities were in the marketplace." They were in the marketplace, just like us. And then the questions. So how would you protect your practice? How do you share it with others? And how will you extend your realization to future generations? Now there's a thought, future generations. And some of the responses to that Keenan wrote for us: return to what is here and affirm your own self-nature. That is what we're doing here for these beautiful, timeless days together. We come to protect the deities by clarifying the heart of peace and walking this peace into the world. I find those words very beautiful, very moving, and inspirational for spending time with Sangha, in whatever form it is taking at the moment. At the moment, here we are, Kunanyi, in Sangha, together with each other, together with the mountain, together with the forest. And the three pillars of our practice, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, they can't really be separated into three. They might be separated into myriad, or they might not be separated at all. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here, now. That statement in itself is so large. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe. And then we go on in our great vows to say Dharma gates are countless. They're countless. Moment by moment, Dharma gates, inviting us to wake up, to walk through them now. And Sangha, what we build together. So, what we build together is now coming out of my mouth. But it is together with all of you, speaking as, with, for the Sangha. All of that. So how do we embody the Buddha way, the awakening way, I like to think of it as, together in this boiling cauldron of the 21st century, third decade, in fact, already, halfway through, the third decade of the 21st century. And there is lots of boiling going on. So today I really want to consider this matter of the question, what is Sangha? It pervades the entire universe. What is it? Like Buddha nature, it pervades the entire universe. A monk asked Chao Zhou, that great old master of the Tang dynasty, what is Sangha? The master said, what else is there but it? So there's a response. What else is there but it? It and Sangha. Same or different? The monk said, well, what is a person of the Sangha? And the master said, me and you. And I love the way Susan Murphy, Roshi and Keenan both put a hyphen between that me and the and the you. Me and you, all one word. What a beautiful response to what is a person of Sangha. So specifically, well, let's take a step back actually. Me and you. Notice he puts me first. Me and you. He doesn't say you and me. And when we say you and me, there is a whiff of the other present. The way Chao Zhou put it, me and you, there is no othering. So no othering of each other. And this is Sangha. So what is Sangha in the 21st century? How does it manifest? What do we expect from Sangha? In these times of change, it's worth taking a moment to explore what a person of Sangha might be. Now, right now, we know that Sangha is completely inclusive. The mountain, the forest, the little green insects flying around, the tadpoles and the birds, the blackbirds and the currawongs. Everything here is Sangha. But very specifically, we are Sangha. We come together for this timeless time and we form a Sangha. And the age that we now live in is a little bit confusing. I think we've all noted that. So I'd like to turn to some words that Dogen offered us 1,300 years ago. They still seem incredibly relevant to me. And at that time, Dogen, at the time when he offered this particular talk, which is a short fascicle, we call them, called the Bodhisattva Shishobo. When he offered this talk, it was on the eve of a very large move that he and his Sangha of monks were making from the area around Kyoto in Japan up into the mountains. So the Bodhisattva Shishobo was offered to the monks to assist them, to sustain them, to support them in this rather momentous move. And this time in Japan was also fairly troubled. There were a number of Buddhist monasteries and temples and sects, and most of them were attached to a warlord of one form or another, one family or another. Dogen was establishing a monastery that was independent of the warlords, and he was not popular doing this. And there was a certain amount of persecution that he was having to deal with in the area where he initially established his monastery. He was invited to go into the mountains. Now, I forget the name of the I wrote it down here. It's somewhere here I have that written down, the actual prefecture where he went. But it was towards the west coast from Kyoto, and it was high in the mountains, in the forest, and he was invited there by the prefect of that area. And he took up the offer, and on the eve before he left to go up into these mountains and build a new monastery, he offered a talk to his monks. And I want to go into some of the things that he said simply because they are still relevant today. We are building something here. We're not building perhaps a temple in the mountains in the way that Dogen was, but we do have a temple here right now, and we are against the mountain. So it seemed a little bit fitting. So he offers this Bodhisattva Shishobo, the 4 elements of a bodhisattva's social relations. So he's being very practical. Dogen was very practical. The 4 ways of being. Awakening itself. There's nothing like a move to wake you up if you have to move house, especially if you're moving a family with some kids maybe, and some animals, and, it can be a fairly stressful time. So he offered this to his monks to help, to sustain them, to help them, and to help them remain a solid and committed body of Sangha. So the first element that he offers is dana. Now, dana we think of as something that we give in exchange for something that we have received very often. It tends to be quite transactional in the way we go about our lives in this day and age. But he says it's not transactional. Dana is not transactional. It is not being greedy. You hear a few moos in here. Not being greedy, not coveting, not currying favour, not transactional. When we look around and we recognise that the whole earth is Sangha, we can see that there is no stinting on the part of the earth. She gives forth wholeheartedly, and she gives it freely. The trees don't question it. The mountain doesn't question it. The birds don't question it. It is freely given and it is freely and gratefully received. There is no taint of getting something out of it. And I think back over my life and I'm deeply grateful and very aware of the many times that I've experienced gifts completely unlabelled, completely free. And I don't even notice them most of the time. But then there's a touch of serendipity and I think, oh, wow, where did that come from? But in fact, if I stop to notice, I would see that it comes from the whole, it comes from life, and it never stops coming. It comes with every breath. So, he said, freely giving and not being greedy, not coveting and not currying favour. There's a lot of currying favour goes on in our world. We won't go there, but we can see it. And it's good to see it and notice it for what it is, and to see it in our own lives too. When we suck up to someone or something because we think we're going to get something out of it. I don't think anybody is exempt. I'm certainly not. And it's also just really good to remember that dana is constant. It never ends. There is no limit to it. And it's being offered to us every breath we take. The second element of social relations that Dogen speaks of is kind speech. And this, translated in my book, which is the translation by Gudo Nishijima and Chodo Cross, is eigo. Kind speech, loving words. Now, kind speech does not come out of nowhere. It comes from the very substance of our practice. So we guard our practice. Dogen was inviting and admonishing and instructing his monks to take care of their practice. Kind speech comes in the form of loving words. They're not necessarily nice words, and they certainly wouldn't be the words currying favour. But they are words that build trust. They build confidence. They nourish and they heal. How do we create our worlds if not with our words? Our words nourish and heal, or they tear down and belittle and destroy. So he is admonishing his monks to pay attention. Pay attention to your practice, that your words may build trust, build confidence, nourish, heal. They are medicine, and they create the world in which we find ourselves. And this is a very particular world for each one of us. And it is a shared world, the world of Sangha. We build it. Nobody else builds it. Loving words, he says, like leaves on a tree, naturally appear and bless. They are Dharma in action. remaking the world. And they are unremarked and unremarkable. They are there. They are the world in just the same way as the earth nourishes all life. Our words can nourish our worlds or not. And part of kind speech is listening. Listening is a generosity, listening with the heart. Very often we may find ourselves listening, but not really with the heart. I've got this to say about that. No, listening is very spacious and very focused. And receiving feedback, well, how do we go with that? Especially if it's not the feedback that we thought we might like to hear. Can we receive it generously? Offer it generously, but even more, receive it generously. There's quite a lot of not receiving in that line going on in the world at the moment. But we can change that in our own worlds. Our words create the culture in which we live. They turn the Dharma wheel. The third element that Dogen offers is helpful conduct, rikyo. And that is utilising, or translated as utilising skillful means. The Buddha's words on loving kindness come to mind. Skillful. Loving and skillful. Not conceited, not proud. Just available, really available. And we offer that to the whole Dharma. That is the Dharma. Friends and foes equally. When we offer ourselves wholeheartedly, in a helpful way, with kind words, and giving freely, all things benefit, he says. From the grasses to the stars. And I note there that there's no picking and choosing in that. We don't pick the stars, we don't choose the grasses. Helpful conduct is offering what is called forth from us in this very moment. And there's plenty to do in this very moment. The last element that Dogen offers is one that is translated as cooperation. The word is doji, which sounds a bit dodgy, but it's not. It's in the version of Dogen that I have, it's some of the helpful things offered are not being contrary. Now, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but I know I certainly have been quite contrary when I felt I was being pushed around or imposed upon, or generally maybe just in a bad mood. I could be quite contrary, and I don't think I'm the only one. And when we look around, the human world has become quite contrary. Perhaps it always was, but we can see it now. We see it on the television screens, in our social media. We see it everywhere. So this doji is identifying it says in the book, identifying with others, but I would almost replace the with an as. Identifying as others. He says, we refuse no one, just as the sea does not refuse the river as it flows into it. Whatever role we have in this life, we welcome. We welcome whatever it brings. The things it brings, the things it doesn't bring, the people it brings, the opportunities it brings. We've had a few opportunities here in the last little while, and they were wonderful, wonderful opportunities to just sit together with what was arising. In this case, no power, but we have the power back. And for that, we can be very grateful for those technicians who know how to restore it for us. The source of our heart-mind understanding of what is happening now, what is needed now in the face of global warming and climate change, war, social media, personal disconnect, and anguish, much anguish, is Sangha, the 4 elements of Sangha. Dharma, giving without thought, not even noticing that we're giving, just because that is who we are. Kind words, same applies. Beneficial action, helping where we can, receiving what arises. And the intimacy of cooperation, not being contrary, not having a better way or thinking something should be some other way. So this is Sangha. These are the guidelines. Just as the Buddha's words on loving kindness offer us the guidelines for how we conduct our lives in a very personal way. And liberation within obstruction also, offering us an opportunity to see that all is not what it seems. If we step into it, if we step into the cauldron and find the centre of it. So, when a monk asked, what is Sangha? I think he was asking one of those Genjo questions. What is this? What is this life? Who am I? What am I doing here? These are questions, big questions that we all need to come to rest in. And the Master said, what else is there but it? You belong. Here you are. You belong. So, but the monk wasn't quite satisfied with that. What is a person of the Sangha? Now, if I have a Genjo koan, that would be it. What is a person of the Sangha? How do we relate? What is relationship? How do we live and reveal the love that is manifest everywhere, all around us, at all times? How do we come to see it, to notice it, to reveal it, to revere it, and to live it ourselves. And the Master said, me and you. And we put the hyphen in there, all one word, me and you, me and you. This earth, me and you. Una, me and you. Susan, me and you. The blackbird, me and you. The trees, the birch trees, all of it, me and you. Keenan, me and you. Thank you, everyone.